light, water, and nutrients from the soil. Yeah, I think the nutrients and the water, give it the kind of building blocks that it needs for its, and the sunlight adds the energy to convert those to the food that it needs. Well, yeah, I guess it requires carbon dioxide also to convert during photosynthesis. That's true. The nutrients and the water, give it the kind of building blocks that it needs for its, and the sunlight adds the energy to convert those to the food that it needs. Well, yeah, I guess it requires carbon dioxide also to convert during photosynthesis. That's true. Where does it come from? Well, it comes. That's a good question. It's a combination of the nutrients it absorbs and the water. I would guess that it's some chemical reactions going on with the compounds involved with the nutrients, carbon dioxide, and the water. Well, yes, because the sunlight that it needs to photosynthesize is energy.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, it needs energy, and it's the sunlight that the trees absorb, and it's used in photosynthesis to create the food for the tree. Well, yeah, it changes into other forms of energy, and how I don't know specifics of how that happens.
So you said, what does a tree need in order to grow? CO2, it needs water, it needs soil nutrients, and it does need sunlight. And then for some of the processes that happen inside of the tree, it also needs oxygen. So one of the things that we're learning about is how a tree uses two main processes, which are photosynthesis and cellular respiration. So maybe you didn't know about cellular respiration.
I think that's true.
But for cellular respiration, it's almost kind of backwards photosynthesis, because photosynthesis takes CO2 and H2O, and then with light energy it produces, the products are sugar like glucose and oxygen. And then once the plant has the sugar and the oxygen, it can perform what is cellular respiration, where oxygen and sugar go into oxygen and sugar are used to create CO2 and water, and then stored potential chemical energy that is called ATP. And that's what the plant uses to perform these tasks and to grow. One of the ways that it uses the energy is through something called biosynthesis, and that's when the tree uses monomers to build more polymers, and that's how it builds new cells and new wood. So monomers are just, the little bits of nutrients that are the building blocks of what we call food.
Mm-hmm.
So, so the wood, the majority of the tree, the biomass of a tree, the living mass of a tree, it comes from the air.
Really?
So the people were.
Mm-hmm.
So it's the building block of these cells are from carbon. So the carbon dioxide in the air is taken in by the plant when it performs photosynthesis, and when it is converted into sugar to store, that carbon is now inside of the plant.
Mm-hmm.
And then what the plant does is it can break down these sugars and make new things, but the carbon will stay there. Yes, some of the carbon that was in there before goes into the oxygen, and that oxygen and sugar will make more CO2 and then some water, and we'll have the ATP. So that is why, like, if you have like a Tupperware container and you put like grass in it or something, it gets all cloudy.
Mm-hmm.
So because there's water coming out of the plants, so
That makes sense.
we know that those processes are happening. So the majority of the biomass of that piece of wood comes from the air. Are you surprised that that is from the air?
Yes.
Because a lot of people would not say that because
As
the
I
air,
found.
yeah, because the air is, pretty thin and you don't really think of it as being anything. So,
But so is that the meaning that the carbon, it gets the carbon out of the CO2 from the air? Is that what
Mhm.
you're saying? I get it. And then a lot of the mass is based on the carbon that it absorbs.
yeah.
Gotcha. Okay.